The Book of Samuel, Abigail, David's rise, Saul's fall, and a nation in mourning. Welcome back to our journey through the Book of Samuel. In this chapter, we witness the closing days of Saul's reign and the preparation of David for the throne. We see God's faithfulness in raising up his chosen servant, while Saul continues to struggle with fear, insecurity, and spiritual darkness. This chapter is filled with lessons about God's guidance, the consequences of disobedience, the value of godly relationships, and the reality that every life leaves a legacy. Above all, it reminds us that God can transform seasons of rejection into seasons of preparation. David marries Abigail. After the death of Nabal, Abigail became David's wife. Abigail had already demonstrated wisdom, humility, courage, and discernment when she prevented David from making a terrible mistake driven by anger. David recognized her godly character and welcomed her into his household. This marriage was not merely a personal blessing. It was also a reminder that God often places wise people in our lives to guide us during difficult moments. Abigail's wisdom had preserved David's future before she ever became his wife. Meaning today, the people we allow into our lives can influence our future more than we realize. Wise relationships often become God's instruments of protection and guidance. Reflection: surround yourself with people who strengthen your character rather than feed your weaknesses. David, God's anointed servant. Although Samuel had already anointed David years earlier, he still was not king. He continued living as a fugitive, hiding in caves and running from Saul. Many people would have questioned God's promises, yet David continued trusting the Lord. His anointing came long before his promotion. God was shaping his character before giving him authority. The wilderness became David's classroom. The caves became his training ground. Meaning today, God often prepares people privately before using them publicly. The waiting season is not wasted. Reflection: sometimes God's greatest work is not what he is doing through you, but what he is doing within you. A troubling spirit continues to torment Saul. As David grew stronger, Saul's spiritual condition continued to decline. Fear, jealousy, anger, and insecurity increasingly controlled his decisions. Instead of seeking God with a repentant heart, Saul searched for human solutions to spiritual problems. His heart became troubled because he continually resisted God's guidance. The contrast between Saul and David became clearer. One sought God's will, the other fought against it. Meaning today, when people repeatedly reject God's wisdom, confusion often replaces peace. True peace cannot be found apart from God's presence. Reflection: the condition of the heart eventually shapes the direction of life. The rejection of David. As war with the Philistines intensified, David found himself in a difficult position. Living among the Philistines for safety, he was expected to march with them into battle. However, the Philistine commanders did not trust him. They feared he might turn against them during combat. Despite David's loyalty, they rejected him and sent him away. What seemed like humiliation was actually God's protection. Because David was not present in the battle, he would not participate in the tragic events that followed. Meaning today, not every rejection is a setback. Sometimes God closes a door because he sees dangers we cannot. Reflection: what feels like rejection today may later reveal itself as divine protection. David defeats the Amalekites. When David returned to Ziklag, he discovered a devastating scene. The Amalekites had attacked the city, burned it, and carried away the women, children, and possessions. David and his men were heartbroken. Some even spoke of killing David. Yet instead of panicking, David sought God's direction. The Lord instructed him to pursue the enemy. David obeyed. The result was a complete victory. Every captive was rescued. Every family was restored. Everything that had been taken was recovered. Meaning today, when loss comes, our first response should not be despair, but prayer. God often restores what seems impossible to recover. Reflection. Seek God's direction before reacting to life's battles. The sad end of Saul. Meanwhile, the Philistines attacked Israel on Mount Gilboa. The battle went badly. Saul's sons, including Jonathan, were killed. Saul himself was severely wounded. Facing defeat and fearing capture, Saul took his own life. Thus ended the reign of Israel's first king. A man who began with promise ended in tragedy, not because God abandoned him, but because he continually rejected God's direction. Saul's story remains one of the Bible's most sobering warnings, meaning today, talent, position, and opportunity cannot replace obedience. Success without character eventually collapses. Reflection. How we finish matters more than how we begin. David mourns for Saul and Jonathan. When David learned of Saul's death, he did not celebrate. He did not rejoice that his enemy was gone. Instead, he wept. He mourned for Saul. He mourned for Jonathan. He mourned for Israel. David composed a beautiful lament known as the Song of the Bow. He honored Saul despite Saul's failures. He honored Jonathan as his beloved friend. David's response revealed the greatness of his heart. Even after years of persecution, he refused to become bitter. Meaning today, true character is revealed by how we treat people who have hurt us. Greatness is not measured by victories, but by the condition of the heart. Reflection. Forgiveness frees the soul from becoming a prisoner of the past. Final lesson for today. This chapter presents two very different journeys. Saul had a crown, but lost his peace. David had problems, but kept his faith. Saul relied on fear. David relied on God. Saul fought to keep power. David waited for God's timing. One life became a warning. The other became an example. The message for us remains powerful. God is not looking for perfect people. He is looking for people who trust Him, seek Him, and remain faithful even during difficult seasons. Final reflection. There will be moments when life feels unfair. There will be seasons of rejection, waiting, loss, and uncertainty. But just as God guided David through caves, battles, disappointments, and victories, He continues to guide those who place their trust in Him. The wilderness is not the end of the story. Often, it is where God prepares His greatest servants for their greatest purpose. A heart that remains faithful during adversity will discover that God's promises are stronger than life's circumstances.